I think reflecting on the achievements and otherwise of COP27, it might seem frivolous, but I think it is Sergio Leone film, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. And I think we saw much of each of those three things. And maybe to work back, I'll begin with the ugly. And I suppose before ever COP27 convened, I spoke about my unease with Coca-Cola acting as a title sponsor. I spoke of my unease around the record of Egypt in terms of human rights abuses. And I was very taken by Deputy Creed's contribution earlier in the debate, where he spoke about the jamboree, he called it, the circus that surrounds COP27. And there's no doubt but that it's an unwieldy process. It absolutely is. But it is, I suppose, the best that we have until something better comes along. And that there is no way to deal with this other than multilateralism. And Deputy Creed has been out there. His experience is invaluable. Maybe there are ways to reform it, but at the moment, it's certainly the best that we have. To work backwards, I suppose, to the bad, and there were disappointments in this COP, as you well know. There was a significant watering down in terms of this language about low emissions technology, which left the door open for fossil fuels. And we know that we need to be moving our language towards phasing out of fossil fuels as opposed to last year's language of phasing down fossil fuels. That's not good enough. It won't get us to where we need to go. And I suppose maybe the bad and the ugly roll together, that presence of 600 fossil fuel industry lobbyists. And as Deputy Creed said, that will, many of the small island developing states, in particular many of the African countries, will have been able to afford to send far fewer representatives that were there representing fossil fuel countries. But that said, and I'll join with others here, it was difficult and very last minute to even get loss and damage on the agenda for this COP. Only at the very last minute was it included as an agenda item. I think it was a huge mark of respect for your leadership in this area that you were chosen to be the EU chief negotiator on what was the most contentious and fundamental issue of this COP. And I think it was a huge achievement from yourself, but maybe more importantly from that dedicated team of civil servants that you brought with you, who achieved an incredible amount of work in a short space of time. I see, not to be confused with Matthew McGrath, but Matt McGrath, who's the environment correspondent from the BBC. He described ignoring the impact of climate change on vulnerable countries in this way. He said, for decades, the victims of changing climate were ghosts the richer world just couldn't see. I found that very poignant because so many of those small island developing states, and I think of places like Tuvalu in particular, are already in some senses ghosts. We know that the global heating that we've built into our atmosphere means that these island states will be inundated. And I think it was very important for Ireland, because we know that our place on the UN Security Council owes in many respects to the votes of small island developing states. I think it was very important that we stepped up to the plate and we made sure that those ghosts were made visible to the people in the developing world. To keep Sierra Leone going, I suppose the loss and damage facility was a fistful of dollars, and certainly as that ratchets, we need to see a few dollars more to fit the full trilogy in there. I just want to comment briefly on the approach of this House to, I suppose, both today's debate and the debate on climate change as well. It's not good enough for us in the Green Party to be good at this. We need everybody in this House to upskill, to be better. I would have liked to have seen members of the opposition travel to COP27. I'd still like to see members of the opposition travel to Montreal. And it's important that we all pull in the same direction, because too often we say, well, we would like climate action, but not this one. And we do all need to work together as a House to be honest with people and to really explain the scale of the challenge and the depth of the change that's needed. Thank you.
Thank you.